So my name is Amalia Zepou, and I worked in the municipality of Athens in the last decade between 2013 and 2019. I became vice mayor for civil society and social innovation because I was interested in a phenomenon of initiatives, of small-scale actions of groups of people that informally would get involved with needs of the public sphere. That had to do from cleaning garbage from parks to helping neighbors, homeless, recycling garbage, but also a new phenomenon that at the time of the crisis was very interesting, to rethink the public space. And that came up with very imaginative initiatives. At the time, I was a documentary producer, and I thought that all of that was really interesting. And we pitched the idea to the mayor of the time to create a platform that would collect all these interesting initiatives and try to find a way to collaborate with them. That was quite new at that time, but because of the crisis, it seemed to be one possible solution at a time when you wouldn't see many solutions around. The capacity of the municipality had decreased enormously. There were budget problems. So he adopted the idea, and this is how I started working at the municipality, got elected and became vice mayor in 2014. The Synathina platform, as we called it then, became a platform that was enriching itself more and more. There were more than 4,000 initiatives that we collected. We identified more than 500 groups in Athens, in the wider area of Athens, that were coming up with incredibly interesting stuff for the city in different categories. There were educational activities with children and the use of art, for example. There was a lot in the greening sphere, more having to do with collecting garbage, which was a problem in the municipality. A lot, of course, related to the refugee time between 2015 and 16. So that led the Synathina platform and my team in the municipality to do 3 flag projects. One was funded by the European Union through Urban Innovative Actions, and it was about integrating refugees, finding alternative models of integration. So we used the Synathina platform to connect refugees with those initiatives. So apart from giving them a new way of learning the language, finding a home, getting a job, we also connected them socially to the city by bringing them together with these initiatives. So in a way, it was a very interesting opportunity for them to give back to the city the hosting in a very interesting circular way, in a way. Anyway, that was a holistic approach that the Synathina platform allowed us to do. We also did other flag projects, such as the reuse of a public building, the market of the Kypseli neighborhood, public market. That gave us the opportunity to experiment on alternative models of governance, since the market is a municipality building, but the municipality had neither the budget nor the capacity to manage it. So we asked the community to find ways to sustain the use of the market and find new uses for it. There was an open call for that, of course, and it was Impact Hub Athens that finally won the bid and are doing now incredible things in the market. All sorts of, they've made actually the first social entrepreneurial hub in Greece by hosting enterprises that are all very interesting, And the first time that the Greek audience, let's say, comes to see what a social enterprise looks like by involving either people with special needs, or Wise Greece has to do with enhancing products of farmers from all over Greece to help them export or sell inside the city, and all sorts of other things as well. Anyway, that was the public market. And there was also another initiative of Synathina in the municipality, which had to do with creating a strategy for the enormous graffiti and tagging that Athens suffered from at the time. But it was it's symbolically a very interesting initiative, because instead of, having a municipality that just wants to erase graffiti, we invited the urban artists to think together of how we could help Athens become a city that hosts graffiti and tagging, but without overdoing it on private property, for example. That was an interesting experiment as well. Anyway, Synathina continues to exist in the municipality. This makes me very proud to know that the next mayor, after the elections of 2019, decided to keep it. I personally left the municipality, and politics had never been really the focus in these experiments. With the pandemic, I really had to leave the city. Now I live in a rural area outside Athens called Markopoulo. And I was very lucky to be able to get involved in a new initiative concerning the creation of a competence center of social innovation at a national level. I co-founded with colleagues of my past experience the NGO called Kollektiva. And Kollektiva has now become a partner in this competence center of social innovation. The competence center of social innovation in Greece is an initiative of the European Social Fund to help each member state create a competence center and help managing authorities and municipalities to adopt, understand, and empower what is called a social innovation ecosystem. The social innovation ecosystem means people that usually don't know the word social innovation, but who are very active in doing, taking initiatives in many thematic areas that are of great urgency and importance at the moment, whether it would be in the health sector, with what we have seen all over Europe, around solidarity, of neighborhood solidarity in the pandemic situation, very much, of course, in the circular economy and environmental initiatives. So what I did in the municipality in the previous decade with Synathina to collect small-scale initiatives by an informal world of small active groups, now is happening at the national level. Greece, like other maybe South European countries, is incredibly rich in informal initiatives of people doing things to help the quality of life in their own environment. And that has always been the case. What is difficult, and what Greece hasn't done in the past, is to create a strong government context that can support this dynamic, this natural dynamic almost, that comes from our societies, our southern societies. We are societies that are not used to strong institutions and have always relied in the family size and neighborhood importance. People have always relied on those networks to get a job, to find a house. So the Competence Center of Social Innovation is is an incredible opportunity to collect that dynamic from at the national level in Greece, as other countries are doing at the moment, and to find ways to help it, empower it, and ask it to co-design with the managing authorities a context in which this can be scaled up. Now I live in a rural area outside Athens, where the town in this area is much smaller. It's only 35,000 people. It's called Markopoulo. It's an area with a lot of pioneers in organic farming about 20 years ago that now are moving to regenerative agriculture. And you see that the way that they bring an immense opportunity for a small-sized municipality to show the evidence in a maybe more direct manner than a big city would allow and would be able to do, of those initiatives that are very much concerned, of course, with environmental issues. I also work at the moment with another small municipality on an island called Sifnos at a project that combines art, science, and technology. And it's really a fascinating reality to see how small-scale towns, smaller places in Europe, in Greece certainly, but Europe is full of them, have given us an opportunity to enjoy a quality of life that is much more difficult to achieve in the larger city. So it is not only a personal experience to have to explore the opportunities that a rural setting gives, but I think also for the work in social innovation, in urban transformative tools that we're looking for, those are much more accessible, let's say, in a town rather than the big city, where you have two difficulties. One is a huge, much bigger municipalities that are much more complex and more bureaucratic and more heavy, and also the difficulty of seeing the visible outcome of efforts. In the smaller towns, you have a much more direct and easy way to understand how your efforts can help the environment and have a direct and accessible experience of what it means to change the way you're used to relate with these aspects. Try to understand where the person across you comes from. Try to understand what the people you need support from, where they come from. The other advice is not to take collaboration for granted. Collaboration is something that needs its own time, and it is a trap to use the word as a flattering way to talk about innovation. It's something very difficult that has to be really well designed to happen. Try to live outside the big cities, and let's make smaller towns of Europe very attractive places to live in.